Gregory. I wanted to talk to you guys about my first Ironman. I want this video to encourage folks. I mean, doing my training, when I was on the treadmill, especially during the winter months, I would go to YouTube and I would find a video and I would watch anything Ironman related, anything triathlon related, anything inspirational when it came time to athletics and running and biking and swimming. I would watch those videos, and I want this video to encourage other folks while they're on their treadmill training. Let me just take a minute and tell you, completed Ironman Indiana, October 2nd, 2021, and in 13 hours, 39 minutes. I decided to do this February 2021. I really had no experience in swimming. I didn't know how to freestyle swim. So first thing I did was I went to my office, and there's a friend who I knew was pretty athletic. I asked him if he wanted to, had he ever thought about doing an Ironman? He said, yeah. So we talked about it, and we said, let's check with our wives and see if it was okay with them. We did. They gave us the green light. From there, we looked into finding a coach. I mean, we were desperately seeking a coach. I was online, I was on the Ironman page looking up coaches, and finally, through another friend from work, he knew someone who had completed an Ironman 20 years ago, and that person directed me to our coaches. As a matter of fact, Justin and I, we really were blessed to find not one coach, but really two coaches, Chuck and Michelle Potter. Were awesome. They held our hands. They met us at the pool. They went biking with us. They went running with us. They, whatever we needed, they were there for us. And I'm just so grateful for those guys, for this. They taught us everything we need to know about Ironman. So finding a coach is very important, and finding the right coaches is important. So obviously just not, and also again, finding a local coach. So Chuck and Michelle Potter, those guys were awesome. Michelle has completed 17, well today it's 8. When we met her, she had completed 17 Ironmans. Chuck had completed 6 at the time. I think he's up to 7 now. And those guys, everything they learned, they gave to us. And it made our Ironman experience great. I mean, I enjoyed it, and I know I wouldn't have enjoyed it without having a great coach. So thank you, Chuck. Thank you, Michelle, for being there for us, for being the best coach a person could have, and I'm grateful. So finding the right coach is important. I recommend having a coach that's local, so someone that, if you can find someone local who can actually meet you at the pool, who could actually bike with you, who can run with you and give you those pointers that you need and the encouragement that you need. Find a local coach. I mean, again, Chuck and Michelle, they were just awesome. I mean, they held our hands. I mean, I know we wouldn't have been able to complete it without their help. So let me just take a minute and tell you about the journey. I ended up completing the Ironman in 13 hours, 39 minutes. For me, my entire focus on this journey was really learning how to swim. I mean, when I went to the pool, I'm sure with my coaches, when they witnessed me swimming for the first time, they said, "There's no way this guy's gonna make it." I mean, it was pretty bad. They did their best to try and teach me. They gave me all the tips they can. And what I ended up doing was I turned to YouTube, watching YouTube videos. Every day before I would go to the pool, I would watch a YouTube video, and whatever the video said, I would do. I did this from March till September. I would swim 3 days a week, and from there, we had our first. Come May, we had our first swimming event, Swim Fest. It was at Port Richey in Maryland. This was, I'd only really been freestyle swimming since March, and this was in May. And I gave it a shot. My coach told me to hang towards the end It was 750, I think it was 750 yards. And I put one arm out in front of the other. I did it. My biggest thing was whenever I would put swimming in open water swimming versus swimming in a pool is night and day. I mean, just night and day. You practice in the pool, it's nice, it's easy, it feels good. When you get in that open water, that cold open water, we had a wetsuit on, as soon as I put my face in that water, it was like trying to breathe through jello. It was the thickness of the water compared to the pool. It's to me, it was scary. Feel like it took 20, for the first 20, 15 minutes, really a half an hour before I relaxed and was able to move on. It was a scary feeling. I completed the swim, and here's my my medal to show that I did that. And then from there, we signed up for a triathlon. And that triathlon was called the Rock Hall Triathlon. And that swim was, it was scary as well. I mean, again, when I put my face down in that water, again, just trying to breathe in open water, it was so tough for me. Just trying to breathe, it was tough. A lot of people ran into me. I ran into one guy as I was swimming, because I swim with my head down, and every once in a while I was looking up. I wasn't good at sighting at all. My coach had talked to me about sighting, but when you're swimming and you're really, and you got that fear, you're just trying to make it, you're trying to survive. So I really I sighted, and I was going from place to place. And one time, this guy turned around and said, "Get off of my back!" And I was on top of a guy. I apologized and kept swimming. And I did okay on that swim. I think I completed the entire triathlon within 1 hour and 6 minutes. And that was my first triathlon, 1 hour, 6 minutes. Now, the second triathlon I did was it was awful. It was really bad. It's called the Diamond in the Rough. And all of these swims were in the Chesapeake Bay. This water was choppy. It's a lot of people. You had to wait in the steps and go down, and you had to jump in. And when I got in that water, this particular time, it was like nightmarish. I mean, the fear. When I got in, within the first 5 minutes, it was like, wow, I'm not gonna finish this. It's like, I'm gonna actually quit. I mean, I really said, I am not going to complete this race. And I thought about quitting, but I said, okay, I'm gonna put one arm in front of the other, and I'm gonna keep going and going. And I did. So I made it round, I was going around, and I went around, when I was coming around, like maybe 3/4 of the way, I had my head down the whole time. It's like, the only way I was gonna make it, I put my head down, I closed my eyes, and I was just swimming. And I would look up every once in a while, and I would swim, and it's like, I would look up, and one time I found myself, one of the folks on the kayak says, "Sir, you're going the wrong way." And I'm saying, okay, I looked up and said, "Well, which way am I supposed to go?" And I looked up, and I was like by myself in all this water, and it's like, he said, "You need to go that way." So I turned around, came back. I lost about 25 to 30 minutes on that swim. And so I started to come back, and then go around, and then make another loop around, This is an Olympic style triathlon. So by the time I got to the water, I was watching video my wife was recording. My arms, instead of coming and swimming like this, if you see the video, it's like my arms, I was swimming like this. My arms wouldn't even make it out of the water. It was like I barely, my wife said, it looked like you looked like you really wasn't gonna make it. I was one of the last ones to come out of the water because I lost about 30 minutes. So because of that, when I got on the bank, so you got the Olympic and you got the sprint. So when I got on the bank, because all the sprint people had passed me also. So when I got on the bank, I came out of the water, I'm banking with all the sprint folks. So I could see that Olympic, you're supposed to go to the left. So I went to the left and I said, you know what, I'm totally by myself. There's no one around. I must be going the wrong way. So I turned around and I went with the Olympics. The Olympics took me 10 miles out of the way. So I did that, 10 miles out of the way. When I came back, I said, I can't be finished. So I said, okay, I got to do it. So I'll continue. So I went on. So I went by myself to complete the race. So I'm out there by myself, I'm riding. Next thing you know, it's like I never, almost the entire ride, 99% of the ride, I didn't see anybody. So finally I hear police. I had a motorcycle in front of me, I had a motorcycle behind me, escorting me along this ride. And by the time I got back, it was one guy who also went the wrong way, come to find out, and I passed him. So I wasn't the last person on the bike. And I got off, and so I said, is it too late to run? Do I still have enough time to run? So yeah, you can still run. So I put my shoe, I did the transition, I hopped on the bike. I ran, and during the run, there was a few people out on the run, and then coming back towards the end, there was about it looked like there was a guy in his late 70s and one guy in his early 80s. I passed both of those guys, and there's one guy who was cramping up. So I passed those guys, and I ended up completing my second triathlon in like 4 hours. Maybe 4 hours, I don't know, 15 minutes or so, versus my very first triathlon took 3 hours and 6 minutes. My second triathlon took over 4 hours with a double motorcycle escort. I felt kind of presidential having a motorcycle in front of me and a motorcycle behind me on my bike ride. And the nice thing about it, doing the bike, before we actually did the event, on the way there, my wife and I, we prayed, and my wife said to look at this as it's a practice, and it was a practice. So when you look at this, I'm forgetting her words, but just think about the big picture. And as you're out there, so while I was out there, I was able to relax and think about, you know what, this is practice. I need the miles. I'm thinking about the big picture, overall picture. So I went all out and I completed it, and it was awful. I got it under my belt. So from there, it's back to just training and swimming. So I hit the pool again, watch my YouTube videos, hit the pool. And finally in July, I decided to take lessons. I kept looking online at lessons, and I really didn't want to. I've been spending so much money on equipment, because when you start off, if you do your first Ironman, you need a bicycle. I didn't have a bicycle. You need swimming gear. You need a whole bunch of stuff, and I've been spending money. It's a big investment. So I wouldn't recommend going from zero to Ironman. You probably should take some time and build up, do some triathlons over the years and get some, so you have equipment. Because if you go from zero to full Ironman, like Justin and I did, you're gonna spend some money. I know I invested over $10,000 in equipment. And so I didn't want to spend money taking lessons, because lessons would look like they were costing, everything online was costing over $300, and I didn't want to spend that. So I finally found something where I can get an hour's worth of swim lessons for $100. Because after every swim event, when I came out of after every open water swim event, I need lessons. It told me I need lessons, I need professional help. So finally, July, I found a swim group who was also training for Ironman and triathlons. So I went in, I paid $100 to get those lessons. great lesson. So I signed up for that, and after taking the lessons, I ended up joining their group. They met on Tuesday mornings at 5:45 a.m. and Thursday mornings, and basically they did Ironman preparations. So I was following my coach's instruction, the YouTube videos, and then on Thursdays and Tuesdays, I would go to swim in the mornings. So I ended up swimming 4 days a week. I guess from July all the way up till late September, till middle of September, I was swimming 4 days a week because again, I needed to learn how to swim. And even though I knew I wouldn't drown doing any of these events, there's still this fear about swimming 2.4 miles. I mean, that fear stayed with me all the way up until, I think about maybe the day or 2 days, the day of the event. And when the day of the event came, of course, the swimming is the first thing. And while waiting in line, I had my family there, had other people encouraging me. One guy to say, hey, would you like to pray? God prayed with me. So when we got to the water, I felt good. I got in and I put my face in the water and I was swimming. I had no fear. I had no fear at all. The swimming ended up being the best part of the entire event for me. I ended up swimming 2.4 miles in 1 hour and 38 minutes. And I enjoyed it. It was like, I sighted, I trained. I really trained. I trained open water, I trained in pools. During that event, swimming, I even took time to look and see what was going on around me. I looked and I could looked over to land. It looked like it was a mile away, but it was like, I took it in. And it was like, it was exciting. I came out of the water. Well, first of all, you have to do 2 laps. So when I came out of the water the first time, I felt great. Got in again, I swam. It was great. The swimming was like the most exciting part and the fun part of the event for me. So when I finished the swim, I came out of the water, they said, Paul Gregory, 1 hour, 38 minutes. Whoa, 1 hour, 30 minutes. I was like, because I was thinking like, again, all of this training, right? All of this training, and you have to, if you don't finish the swim within 2 hours and 10 minutes, they will stop you. Say, okay, Mr. Gregory, you can stop now. So, I've been training since February, and if I don't make this swim, and I've told everybody, and I have folks following me on Ironman, tracking me on Ironman, and it's like, if I don't make this swim, it's like, wow, that would be like bad. So that's another part of being fearful, not making the cutoff. So because I really never was fearful of drowning, but it was just it was like, for me, every time I would put my face in the water, open water, and swim, it was to me, I use the word nightmarish, because for me it was scary. But this particular swim was great, and this was the one I trained for. So the biggest part of this, train hard. And so that was great. So 1 hour, 38 minutes. So I transitioned to the bike. I trained really, really hard on the bike. I trained really, really hard. I missed maybe my coach gave us instructions. I probably missed one session of what I was told to do. And I trained. And as I have video. You'll see the video, I'll be talking about it, but I trained. So the bike, I enjoyed the bike. I passed so many people. It's like, I'm biking, I'm passing. One time doing the bike, this lady looked over at me and she said, "Get down." because I was in the upright position, I was kind of like experiencing and enjoying the ride, and she saw me say, "Get down!" So I quickly got back down into the Earl position, and I passed so many people on that, because when you swim, if you're a swimmer, and if you take 98 minutes to swim, a lot of folks can swim a lot faster. So it's a lot of people you're going to pass on the bike. So the bike ended up taking 6 hours, I think 18 minutes. The reason why I had to get off the bike, I would lose I went to the porta potty a lot. Staying hydrated is important when you bike. Doing one of the bike rides, I thought I was drinking. I thought I was staying hydrated, and we were biking, and it was a hot day. And then, so I think it was maybe a 60-mile ride, and on the way back, I started cramping, and and I ended up finishing the ride, but it's like for the next couple of hours, I made it home, and I just cramped, and it was really painful. And I just, you know what, I said, I don't want to experience this again. So from that point on, I hydrated. I made sure I hydrated. And I think really going into, now that I finished the event, I kind of overhydrated, because the reason why I know I overhydrated, because I would go to the bathroom I would go to the bathroom so often during the bike, at least almost 4 or 5 times, because I hydrated a lot. Because my coaches, they say you gotta stay hydrated, you gotta have nutrition, you gotta stay hydrated. They preach that. So I was drinking too much, because I would constantly go into the bathroom because I was drinking so much. So I went to the bathroom at least a minimum of 4 times. And I'm not going to tell you what I did on those other when I didn't go to the bathroom. And again, I think I lost really about a half an hour. I lost more than a half an hour's time. I could have completed this event within 12 hours had I not have to stop and go to these porta potties or do whatever folks do. But I completed it within 6 hours, 18 minutes on the bike. And I enjoyed every minute. I experienced no pain on the bike. It was a great experience. Matter of fact, on the bike, I'm not advising you to do this, but I know my coaches said, you know, pace, you know, take your time. I mean, have a good pace. And I knew my pace because I've been training so much. I averaged about 17 miles per hour on the bike, and I think this event I ended up 17.8 miles per hour on the bike during the Ironman event. And I looked at my watch once. I think 5 minutes into the race, I looked at my watch to see, and I also have purchased, I spent like $385 on a GPS unit that I I bought for the bike. I couldn't get it to work, couldn't get it to sync with my watch. So I never looked at that. I looked at my watch once during that 6 hours, 18 minutes. I looked at my watch once. And the only thing I did was, I did what I practiced. I just rode the pace, my practice pace the entire time. I didn't push it. I just rode my practice pace and passed a lot of people. Like I said, I finished 6 hours, 18 minutes. And when I transitioned off the bike, got to the run felt good in the beginning. The run felt great in the beginning, but the run, I don't know how far into the run when finally it was like, whoa. I'm doing something beyond, because pain, all kinds of stuff started happening. I was running, and I don't know, maybe mile, 18, 20 or something like that. It was like really, really tough. At one point I was running, and this one lady was walking. She would walk and she would run. She would walk, and and I would see her, I would pass her, and she would be walking. And so finally, it's like I got to a point, saying, I'm running, she's walking and running, she's walking. Maybe I need to do so, because it was hilly. It was a lot of hills, country roads, late at night. And so finally, when I would hit a hill, I would walk the hill, and I would run, walk the hill, run down. And, you know, I want to use this video to encourage folks, other folks. I'm 59 years old. I just did my first Ironman, 13 hours, 39 minutes. It was great. I enjoyed all of it. I enjoyed it. The swim was fun. The bike was fun. The run was hard. The run was hard. The run was hard. That's when I knew I was doing something beyond your average person, because the run was just hard. The run was hard. The swim was fun. The bike was great. The run was hard. It was hard. It was hard. Real hard. Everything was easy. The run was hard. It was really hard. And I just kept doing it and doing it and doing it. I kept running and running and running. Running and running. It was hard. It was just really, really hard. But I did it. So it ended up being like, it was 5 hours and 25 minutes on the run. I started at 8:30, I think that morning. That morning I finished at like 9:40 that night. And, wow. Also, okay, I got my wife, and I had so much support during this event. It's incredible. It's like, it's good to have family. I mean, my wife supported me. She was right there with me this whole event. I mean, it's like, there's no way I could have did this without her support. I mean, the encouragement that she gave me was incredible. Like everything I did, she was video recording all of my events. She would be there with me and pray for me, pray with me. And one time I was on a bike ride. It was a 100-mile bike ride I was trying to do. And I was by myself. A lot of time I trained with my partner, Justin. This particular time I was training by myself. And I started like before 5, maybe 4:30 in the morning, because it was like, it ended up being 90 degrees by the afternoon. So I wanted to get an early start. In the last 9 miles of this 100-mile ride, it's like, it took forever. I was like struggling to reach the 100-mile mark. So I got on the phone, I called my wife, I said, baby, I am like really having trouble to make it to 100 miles. It's like, you know, and she took time to pray with me and just encourage me and just talk to me, and I ended up finishing, and you know, I couldn't have done it without her. It was a practice. It was a practice event, but I mean, I just can't thank my wife enough for the support she gave me doing this event. I mean, I love her so much. Nothing better than a great wife, especially when you're trying to accomplish an event like this. So thank you, babe. I love you so much. You're the best. So I came across the line 13 hours, 39 minutes.
I see him running. Woo! Dad! Right here. Dad! Woo! Let's go, Dad! You're almost there! You're an Ironman! Let's go, Dad! Go! Dad! Woo! Go, Dad! Woo! Go! Go! Well, Paul. Yeah, I'm coming. Go, Dad!